Why am I so nervous now? Tori, stop looking at me.
Okay, let's start again. More background detail. Okay.
Telescope, my vision, television, telling lies to my vision, crazy thing called intuition, never afraid to jump the rope, never freeze, don't choke, emotions can be manipulated, so don't be emotional, take the lesson and hope to grow, speed up the flow. Ramadan fasting, my energy everlasting, my gun pop is blasting, your whole bop she smashing, no wedding, we crashing, I pull up in the Porsche, I'm flashing, I speak. Welcome to All That Jazz Podcast. I'm your host, Jazz, and today we have a very special guest in the building. I am very close with this woman. She has many different talents, and today she's going to be sharing some of her personal life with us and her journey as to how she got where she is today, as well as giving us some tips that we could use at home to benefit us. So, without further ado, let me welcome Miss Toni.
Hello. Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what it is that you do?
Well, I am an advanced licensed esthetician here in Vegas, and I've been doing that for almost 4 years. So I always say that was kind of like my third journey in life, third career. First being wife and mom, and then had a full-time career in the health industry for almost 25 years. And then took an early retirement, and here I am now. Okay.
So before we get into what you do now, let's go back. So tell us a little bit about life before you were an esthetician.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I got married right out of high school. That marriage ended in divorce, but produced my amazing daughter.
Okay.
And then I entered into my second marriage with her and have 2 other children. And I have what I call my bonus son. So I have 3 children that I birthed and one that was a precious gift to me.
Okay.
I always say one thing about my husband. He was good for bringing home kids and dogs. So we always ended up attracting other people into our home. And luckily, this one has stuck for over 20 years. So I feel I'm very blessed to have 4 children in my life. So I've got 2 boys and 2 girls. I was married for over 21 years. And I worked for the county for the majority of my healthcare career. I was there for just shy of 18 years. 13 of those years, I was a medical coder. Then I kind of got to the point where I just was already kind of burnt out with healthcare. But I made really good money. But I ended up losing my husband to cancer in 2012. And that was really something that shifted everything in my life. And I just decided that on the personal front, I didn't want to have to do things anymore that I didn't love.
Right.
And so I just decided I was going to take an early retirement and kind of figure things out, what direction that I wanted to go. I had no plan B.
Wow.
I just woke up one day and said, I can't do this anymore. And gave a 2 weeks notice and quit the job.
Wow. And how did the loss of your husband impact your view on death? And do you believe death is the end after experiencing the loss?
I 100% do not believe that death is the end. I believe death is nothing more than a transition. One thing I can say about our relationship was I don't feel it was anything that ever went unsaid between us. We talked about everything all the time. Talk about pillow talk. I told him, I said, we should call these bedtime combos, because we would talk about everything and nothing. Important things, insignificant things. So one thing I can say about his death was it didn't leave me feeling empty, because I do feel as though we said everything that needed to be said.
Right.
It was shocking because he was a very outwardly looking, very healthy person. And it was such a surprise to find out that he had this brain cancer, which it's called glioblastoma. And when you learn a little bit about it, it's very aggressive and tends to be very long term. does give you a lot of symptoms as somebody in their 50s, you know, forgetful and those types of things. So I would have never imagined that that's where my life would have even gone.
Right.
And then he ended up having a seizure. We found out this was a terminal illness. And then in 90 days, on Father's Day in 2012, he passed away. Wow. And so it impacted me in so many ways, because as hard as it may be for people to understand, his death process was still a very beautiful thing.
Wow.
It really made me realize almost as much beauty in the leaving as in when we birth our children, because for me, I can only speak from my experience, is I don't believe that death always has to be something that we grieve so negatively. I believe in the way that you choose to experience it, and also in the way that the dying person chooses to experience it. It can become a very beautiful experience. So to me, I felt a lot of peace with his death, and how, you know, how his dying, his transformation actually happened. And I say I do not believe that death is the end.
Mm-hmm.
I am a very spiritual person.
Okay.
Not a religious person. But I have always been someone that has been able to see other souls, if you'll put it that way, or know that I have presences around me. And my husband has come and spoke to me in many dreams. I've actually heard him audibly. So for me, I know personally that it's only a transformation. It's
right.
just the soul leaving the physical body.
Okay.
But I do not believe that that is the end.
What made you become like convinced, or what made you be sure that being an esthetician was the route for you to take? Like, what sparked your interest with that?
Well, I knew from that I wanted to start to find my purpose. I knew I had a lot of love to give, because I operate out of that naturally. I always felt like that was something I really didn't have to work at.
Right.
But trying to figure out, how do you channel that? How do you turn loving people into a business?
Right.
And my oldest daughter, who's a luxury nail artist here, said, hey, you know what? You have such a healing nature, very good with loving people and touch. You should become an esthetician.
Wow.
I think you could really transform people's lives in whatever space that you want to work. You know, people are always attracted to you, this, that, and the third. So I took my daughter's advice, had her take me around to some schools, and here I am.
Wow. And did you find that transition difficult, like going back to school after all those years, or what?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, you figure I've been out of school 30 plus years at that time. And I was 53 when I started, 54 when I graduated. And you in a school full of teens and 20-somethings, you know, it was a few of us oldie but goodies in there. But it absolutely, I mean, physically, definitely challenging.
Wow.
You know?
And did you know right off of the back that you wanted to do facials and not like anything else, like not like lashes or some of the other things you could do?
I didn't, because you know what, to be honest, in my life, oh my gosh, I think I had only had a few facials.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't really know, to be quite honest. I mean, when I say I just jumped in so many things in my life, I just jumped in. I really didn't even know the gamut of the things that you could do with aesthetics until I actually got in school and found out that there were so many different directions that you could take it. So I didn't know my passion for it until I started doing it. And then I realized, like, okay, wow, like I'm an affectionate person naturally. Okay, I love touching people. Okay, this is great. And then, you know, once you're, you know, you get the professionally trained there, but then you find your own rhythm.
Right.
And what works for you when you get out on your own. And that's my thing, to incorporate healing in with the touch.
Right.
I don't want anybody to leave my room the same way that they came in. So.
And I can speak to that, because when I first met you, just you embracing me or touching me, I would feel like you were like sucking the negative energy out and just like filling me back up with like love or like positivity. So I think it's perfect you being in people's personal space, but touching and giving them, because you know they might not all know. Yes, you know, they think they're just coming to get a facial,
right, exactly.
But they're really getting that real good love energy.
Exactly. Yes. And
So
that's my intention for them, whether they know it or not.
Whether they know it or not,
that's always
exactly.
my goal, is for them to, you know, get off the bed and leave the room, you know, feeling healed and refreshed.
Yeah. What are some tips we can use at home for our face care routine, and do skin types play a role in that?
Skin types definitely play a role because it's going to depend on how aggressive you can be.
Right.
I always do recommend professional products.
Okay.
Just because the ingredients are more potent. It's really not a sales tactic. Many of them really do make a difference. That's why one of the main things we do a skin analysis. Mm-hmm. So we can determine the sensitivity of the skin, because everything plays a role. Mm-hmm. Not just skin types and skin tone, but your overall health. Are you on medication? Do you suffer any type of things that would affect your skin, like rosacea, psoriasis, eczema? That's all going to play a role in what I would recommend that you use or what I would sell you to use.
Right.
If somebody doesn't have the means to make the investment at that time,
right,
then I would definitely always say try to get with products that are the cleanest that you can find. Also, if you do have a compromised barrier and you have to use a sunscreen, then try to get a pure sunscreen, something that is not over chemicalized.
Okay.
You know, something on your skin, it only takes 7 seconds for it to penetrate.
Wow.
So we do have to be mindful of the things that we use. Don't sleep in your makeup. Let me say that again.
Right. Everybody.
Under no circumstances, don't sleep in your makeup. And one amazing ingredient that you can add to anything is aloe vera. It's one of my absolute favorite things to use. You can use it as a mask. You can add it to your cleanser. If your barrier is excessively dry, you can put it on before you put your moisturizer. So there are inexpensive, healthy options, you know, out there.
And what about water? Is that a part of our skin care routine?
Not drink water. It is, especially here in this climate, in the desert, hydration is key. Yeah. So you have to stay on top of your water. And that's even including like coconut water, because of the electrolytes in there. Mm-hmm. If you're somebody that just absolutely can't stand pure water, there's so many other things that you can add to make, you know, hydration tolerable in your body.
Yeah. You can even get hydration from fruit. Absolutely. It has a lot of water.
Yes.
So
you can eat your water.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. Watermelon, celery, cucumber. You can eat your water.
And so speaking of celery, today I knew you were coming, so I had a little concoction of celery, apple, and ginger. And I knew, because this is a part of your daily routine.
Yes. How
did this become a part of your daily routine? And for those who don't know, what are the benefits of this, and how have you seen that difference since you've been doing it?
So actually, truthfully, I've been juicing for a long time.
Right.
And just because I just really enjoyed it. And then I ended up, I think, following just different people. I've gone through, you know, many different food transitions. Right. I went vegan for a while. And then I really made juicing a larger part of my life at that time. Mm-hmm. And I just started realizing I've never been a huge coffee drinker, but there were times that, I want a midday pick-me-up, and I would have some coffee. But of course, between all the caffeine and the sugar, it always left me feeling worse later on.
Right.
So
Absolutely. I
had a friend said, you just need green juice, and that would make all the difference. So then I really started getting into kind of juicing in the midday and realized what an energizer it was.
Yes.
Well, fast forward to some years where, you know, it was kind of hit and miss with me. I was off and on with it. And then, of course, now I'm in the menopausal years. And, of course, your hormones are just all over the place.
Right.
And I ended up following the medical medium and getting his book. And it has, just so many amazing, can't give medical advice, but, you know, healthful cures in there for the body.
Right.
And one of the main things that I found that seemed to be just the solution for everything was celery juice. And so I jumped on it in order to help with my sleep, to help with my hot flashes. And celery juice has been so amazing. I cannot believe, I think within 48 hours, I was already seeing a turnaround in how I was feeling in my body. With the bloating, it definitely regulates you, hydrates you. And now I can't do without it. I have literally, for several months now, been faithful to it every single day.
Right.
And sometimes multiple times a day.
Yeah, and even going back to the tips for skincare, even things like juicing or having celery juice or hydrating
Celery
with what,
juice, carrot
yeah,
juice,
you'll see a difference in your skin.
green blends. I mean, all of that. Anything that we do that's going to help purify and detox our liver is going to make a humongous difference in the skin. Anytime that we're doing anything for gut health, you're promoting health for the skin and just your overall health, hair, nails, everything.
Right. And not only did you become an esthetician, but you also became a certified Reiki practitioner. For those who don't know, what is Reiki?
So dealing with Reiki is basically using...
Reiki. I'm saying it wrong.
It's okay.
Reiki. Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
Reiki.
So it's
okay.
using the energy centers of the body. So it's also called, chi, your energy force. We have them in our body from our root to our crown. Mm-hmm. And these are all energy centers that can get blocked in the body, can be trapped emotions. And many times that's exactly what it is. Trapped emotions bring dis-ease in the body. So you kind of have a little, wherever these little blockages are, I'm joining my energy with your energy to free these blockages. So that chi, so that energy flows freely through the body. And I actually found that also because of my oldest daughter. Really didn't know much about it initially.
Right.
And went under the recommendation of my daughter. We went together and my gosh, had this amazing practitioner. But the first go around, I don't think I really understood much about it. Mm-hmm. Second time around, of course, I had already had time to read my book, study up on it a little bit more, and I was extremely open to it. And I always like people to know, same thing, this is not religious based.
Right.
It has absolutely nothing to do with that. Everybody in Chinese medicine, African medicine, can pretty much, even in Western medicine now, it's really being recognized that we definitely have energy that flows through us. I mean, think about it. You've got electricity in your brain. You've got electricity firing in your heart. We
Right.
are electric beings.
And we can always prove this by all of us have shocked somebody
Exactly.
or gotten shocked by someone else.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So you know you're an energetic being. So the goal is to keep these energies unblocked and free flowing.
Right. So next question is, why do you think we're here on Earth?
Oh gosh. I think that's it's a simple and a deep question.
Yeah, I like to throw those in there.
So, I definitely believe in the creator, the universe, God, whatever the name that you want to give to our master designer.
Right.
And I personally believe that we are here in a simulation having this experience, and that the creator is having this experience through us. So I definitely believe I believe that we are already energetic beings and that we chose to come here and to have the remembrance that we're all one. Mm-hmm. And that's one with everything. That's one with nature. That's one with each other. And to vibe on what the creator vibes on. And that's love. I believe it's all just to come back and have a remembrance of who and what we really are.
That was beautiful.
This is a subject I could go on.
I know. I'm like, that was really...
It's such a deep topic, But I think to me, the number one thing is just to remember that love is the highest vibe. And that's what we should be trying to operate out of at all times. Of course, we're always going to, fall into our human body and have the human experience. But to try to always center back to love.
Right.
Is why I believe that we came here.
Absolutely. So a lot of women are interested in getting all those curves in the right places. You do body work. What are some of the benefits of doing body work?
Well, anytime you're doing anything with body work, you're dealing with your lymphatic system of your body. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of your draining system for the body. So my number one thing is I always want to have a consultation with someone to find out first what's their goal.
Right.
Because we need to be realistic with what we're looking to accomplish. Because I want people to love themselves no matter what body type they're in.
Right.
And for the changes that you're making to love yourself more, not to compete with what social media is telling you.
Or for us to all have the same exact body type.
Exactly, because I don't believe for 1 second that that's how
it's supposed to be.
No, you should be yourself and love yourself. Yeah. Now, with that being said, I don't think it's anything wrong with wanting to be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
So realistically, without surgery, the machines I use are safe, simple, and it's technology that started in the medical field like way back in the 70s. And then, of course, what happens, they find the side effect of how, they can transition that to the beauty industry. And then that's what ends up happening. Usually kind of gets repackaged. So one is like radio frequency. That's a natural skin tightener. Body contouring uses ultrasound, cavitation, and that's actually using sound, a very high-pitched sound. It ruptures the fat cells of the body, and then over time, your liver and kidneys release that fat and some of the toxins, along with it. So smoothing out the skin, we have several tools that we can use to work on the adipose tissue of the body. That's kind of what holds in your little pockets of cellulite. Can work on that area. We typically warm it up, oil it up, and then depending on which tool that I feel is best for your body, we kind of work to break that down. It's going to take several sessions. We didn't get where we were overnight.
Right.
So it takes time to release that. Also, we have to give the body time to heal.
So does that dissolve the fat? Does it move it? Or does it help? You use the word release. Does it help it kind of like just...
It does. It actually does both. Because anytime you're releasing the adipose tissue, you're stimulating the lymphatic system in the body. So it's getting rid of toxins that have been stagnant in the body. So it also promotes speeding up the waste of the body. So along with that waste, you're getting rid of fat in the body.
Okay.
Also, you have to change your diet.
Right.
You have to change your diet.
You can't just...
You have to be kind of committed
to eating fast
to the process.
Food and then be like, why am I not getting the curves that I want?
Got to change your diet. You got to stay hydrated.
Right.
And got to put in some sort of
and drink celery juice.
Got to drink celery juice. Yes. Hey, listen, that's going to help the whole healing.
Right.
So absolutely.
What was I going to say? So with this, as opposed to getting liposuction, I know this is 100% safer. Can you just maybe talk about some of the dangers of like getting fat taken out and putting it back into your body? Because I know we've had this discussion off camera before, but I think it's really important for people out there to hear some of those things.
Well, I guess the first thing for me to say is there's no judgment for me with whatever people feel that they need to do with their body.
Right. Absolutely.
But if we're talking safety, I think there's just some logical things that we have to look at. The majority of the excess fat we have, especially in the belly area, is visceral fat. And that's an unhealthy fat. I believe we also have to kind of look at how our body is made up.
Right.
Certain fats from certain areas don't necessarily belong in other parts of the body. And one of the protective mechanisms that the body has is making clots. And these excess clots, unfortunately, can go to the wrong areas of our body. And that seems to be one of the largest problems we have with fat transfer.
Right, yeah.
So you have to have somebody that really knows what they're doing. And I think you just have to kind of ask yourself, are the dangers worth it?
Right. So getting body work is more of like a natural way of getting, what, you may not get the dramatic results, obviously looking just like everyone else on social media, but you definitely can see some results. And
plus, I think people have to be realistic, even when you're having surgery. If I'm 57. If I was to have a facelift, it's not going to prevent me from aging. I'm still going to age.
Right.
It's not turning the clock back. It's doing some things that make you feel better about yourself.
Right.
So, but we have to still remember that the body is going to shift. It's going to change. When hormones change, we definitely begin to lose collagen, which gets rid of some of our natural proteins. So yes, you're going to lose some things, even in doing the body work, even with all of the working out, this, that, and the third. We're still going to there is nothing wrong with having some cellulite on the body.
Right.
There is no perfect body.
Yeah.
So to me, I think, do what feels right for you. I'm also going to always give an honest opinion.
Right.
Like I said, because when people come in, I want them to be realistic about what they're really going to look like.
Right.
And
their
that's
expectations
even with
on
surgery. Listen, there is no quick fix. Even with surgery, there's still drains involved. There's still work involved.
Absolutely.
So I think people have to just be realistic going in with, how much are they really willing to put in. My thing is, most of us aren't even going to the gym to try to get the natural effort.
Right.
No shade. I'm just saying.
And you don't even have to go to the gym. You can just get outdoors and walk.
Yes.
Or walk around your house.
You can even just with detoxing yourself, just with actually getting some lymphatic drainage. Even if you didn't come to an esthetician, if you went to a massage therapist, it can make an actual huge difference in the tissue of the body.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think start naturally and see what type of results you can get for yourself. And then if you feel it's just...
Let's talk about sound bath therapy. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, sound bath therapy.
Let's talk about that, because that's something else that you're doing right now, right? Getting certified for?
Yes, and I adore it.
Right.
So, again, going back, after my husband died, my youngest daughter, around 13 or 14, she was just dealing with a lot of anxiety. And, to be honest, I just always feel the universe just always opens the doors for me for things that I need at the time. Because, to be quite honest, I have no idea how I even ended up researching sound bath therapy.
Right. It just...
Ended up buying a bowl. And I think I was looking up like anxiety or something like that, because I did not want her on any medication.
Yeah, understood.
So I ended up getting this Tibetan bowl and just kind of started playing it over her. But even realizing in my hand, as I would play it, I could just feel it radiate through my body. And I just found it to be the most amazing thing.
Amazing.
So I did it with her for the longest time. Then kind of put it down once, she got older and got better. And then once again, don't know how it ended up coming back. I know once I really became an esthetician and realized I wanted to go in the healing realm, I just really started going down all types of roads, looking at all different types of healing. And the sound bath really was something that I just kept coming back to. Then one evening, I had a friend of mine just invite us over for just a few ladies, just for a get together. Had no idea that she was going to surprise us, and had a sound bath, a session set up for us.
Oh, that's so nice.
And it was the most amazing feeling, because it really it gets you in a meditative state and kind of carries you away. Because, the hour went by like that.
So she was playing them for the entire hour.
Oh my gosh. And each bowl resonates with the chakras in the body. So you may not even know that you're feeling a certain way. Like some people cry, some people go to sleep. Some people may start out very uptight and then end up super relaxed in the end. But you don't have to do anything. That's the thing I love about it, is the vibrational sound, again, scientifically proven, with how sound affects our body. So think about this. Think about, a lot of people like their hardcore music or their hip hop when they're working out, and they get so amped up.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Because that's from sound.
Yeah.
Or think about how you can think about a certain song, right? And it takes you back to a certain memory. So that's how powerful sound
really is
in our life. It's also been proven with newborns in the womb, how dealing with certain music, you're dealing with Beethoven and how it amplifies the knowledge in the baby. So sound is so much more powerful and vibration than I think people even realize.
They don't even realize, yeah.
And so that is something for me that I want to see people's health transform through sound. So I have a lot of ideas. Starting with the sound bowls, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and for those of you who have never experienced sound bath therapy, look it up because it is really like, I actually first heard about it from my son because he had like a little small one, and I just was like just amazed at how beautiful it sounded. And then as an adult, I was able to be around one of the really big ones, and it just like that was one of my birthday requests, to get one of those big things, because I was like, this is just beautiful. And I really never knew what it was, because I know we talked about it before, and I was like, does that have to do with a bath or something like that? So I really didn't know I didn't know the term. I just knew it was beautiful. And so sometimes I even go on YouTube and I'll go to those sound bath things where there's a whole bunch of different bowls. But I didn't know. I would just call it singing bowls. So I didn't know the real name for it. But
and the lady that I deal with is the thing I love about her is she's just so in tune, and she uses the 432 hertz frequency, which is the healing frequency, because it does make a difference which hertz frequency that you are tuned into.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of today's music is tuned into the wrong frequency. Even though we may like the sound, we have to stop and think, how is it affecting our minds and our souls, and is it healing us? That's the goal.
Right.
So the sound bath therapy is definitely for healing.
Okay, so let's talk about low and high vibrations and low and high vibrational people.
Well,
and can you be a high vibrational person and have a low vibrational moment? And does that like counter all the work and stuff you've been?
Absolutely, it does not. It doesn't discount any of the work that you've done. You have to remember that, we're an infinite being having a temporary experience in this avatar body.
Right.
So we are going to go through all of the things in the natural body. We're going to feel sadness, anger, grudge holding. I mean, we go through it all. And yes, there's times that somebody's going to hit a trigger, and and you're going to be human because you are having a human experience. My thing is, don't dwell on it. You are still that high vibrational person. The number one thing is, forgive yourself, forgive the action, and then go back to where you started. It absolutely doesn't discount all of the work that you've done. You still are not, because that's the thing we hear replay, or we'll hear someone say, they know us, they know. Yeah, you may know a version of us, and all of those versions are true. Along the journey, all of the versions of us, good, bad, whatever, those are all experiences. Those versions are all true. It does not discount, though, the work of the person that you are now.
Right.
We are, whether people realize it or not, our souls are elevating. We are, climbing into a different dimension. And when you feel the call to certain things, I always say, you're the brain, it really is in your gut, and you'll feel the things that are calling you. And you will begin to realize when you're out of alignment with certain things. And as your vibration gets higher, you start to view people, life, everything differently. Because you can see the shift in the world right now, how people are really wanting to work for themselves. Entrepreneurship is at an all-time high. Business ownership is at an all-time high, and that's simply because of the shift in the consciousness.
Right. And I know a lot of people, like you were saying earlier, that the certain thoughts of gratitude, like super high vibration, versus like complaining or even being sad or being upset, that's more like a low vibration. And it really does affect like things that actually happen to you. And I noticed too, like when you're constantly putting out those low vibrations into the universe, usually 9 times out of 10 it's what you get back.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, and that's why I think like some people are like, oh, if you start the day and you like hit your foot and like something else happens, it's kind of like you feel like, goodness, now it's going to be one of those days because it's like all these things are happening, or if you yelled or had an argument. So I think it is, or I say I start to sometimes feel guilty if I get taken out of that, like those high vibrational thoughts of love and gratitude, because it's a nice place to be. But
well, and you have to remember though, that is the place that you always are. You are one with the Creator. The Creator only has the love vibration. Everything else is just an experience. So you have to always remember that is who you are.
Right.
In the core of us, that's who we are. It's just we're working on the remembrance of that.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes. So you should never beat yourself up when you have a human moment, because
true,
this is a tough place to be.
Right.
You know,
it's
a lot of stimulation and things coming in at us all at one time. So
for sure,
you know, the goal is just to always don't stay where you are. Just center, ground yourself, and take yourself back. And also, you know, you have to just let go of the court of public opinion. Somebody's always going to have something to say. Internally, you have to know who you are and be able to dismiss those voices, even your own negative voice that's talking to you.
Right, because most of the time that's what it is, your own voice.
We are our own worst critics.
Yeah.
You know, we are our own worst critics. But, you know, you overcome that with constant meditation. And I do believe personally, gratitude is the door opener to every single thing in your life. Because the things that we have, the things that we do, should not just be about us, but what are we giving back to the world?
Yeah.
So if you're always that being your main thought, your main process, then you're always going to come back to who you are. And you don't lose growth, you only gain it.
True. So you recently posted a video on Instagram about not waiting for the perfect moment. So I think we've probably all been guilty of this. I think you and I as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Waiting for that perfect moment, you know, to start a podcast, to start a business. Let's talk about that.
You know, it's funny. I put that out on the spur of the moment. As a matter of fact, I was laughing because I said I think I'm going to start calling it the couch combo, because it seems like I don't have any thoughts, seems like, until late in the evening when I lay on the couch. But I realized, because that's when my house is the quietest.
And you winding your brain down.
Exactly. And I just happened to be watching this movie that I've watched a gazillion times, which is Collateral. And I was just thinking to myself, I never fully listened to their conversations in the taxi cab. And I said, I'm going to turn this up because you can see Jamie Foxx's character. It brings out so much kind of anger and frustration in him when you hear Tom Cruise talking. And I said, I'm going to really tune into what are they saying.
Right.
And he was telling him how you have all these plans. Every day he gets in this cab and he has a future plan and a future plan and a future plan. But yet it's been 12 years.
Dang.
And he has not executed the plan.
Execution.
And, you know, so that was really something that same thing. He was always waiting for something else to happen. And he mentions to him, like, you could have already bought a town car. Like, you didn't have to have a limo. You could have started somewhere. And I just want people to realize that no matter what your topic is, no matter how small you think it is, somebody needs to hear and see what it is that you're doing to help fuel them. So, and it's never too late. Think about it. I didn't go back to school for a third career until 53 years old. And here I am at 57 still building a business. Right. So, you know, I haven't arrived. I'm still in the process, still in the journey.
Yeah. And imagine if you would have been like, oh, it's too late in my life to go back to be an esthetician.
Exactly. I would be sitting miserable at a desk every day.
And missing your purpose at the same time.
And missing my purpose and the things that I love and the freedom that comes with that. It's not that it's lack of working for yourself. It's working on your terms, doing the things that you love. So it's never too late. Start where you are. Start with what you have.
Absolutely. Okay, last deep question.
Okay.
Who do you want to be And what experiences do you want to create?
Well, I believe I am who I want to be. So
that.
I am a healer on this planet. And that is my ultimate goal, is to see people believe in the natural way of healing themselves. And I'm talking in every area. I'm talking in their mental health, in their spiritual health. Really finding who they are is really what I want to see. I would love to be a conduit to service people in that way. So I believe I am being who I am, being true to myself. And I'm sorry, what was the other part of the question?
The part 2 of that question was, what experiences do you want to create?
Oh my gosh, I definitely want to create more awareness of what a healer nature is. And that I want to create an environment to where we all accept one another, where we can let go of all this division. And that's all division. That's racial division, financial division, location division, size division, age division. I would really just like to see people realize that, you know, we have a lot more commonalities than we do differences. And if we can put some things down, that we could really radically change this planet to exactly how it's supposed to be. And again, that's radiating love constantly.
Absolutely. So where can people find you? Because people are going to want to come get some of that good energy, come get some facials, some body work, some Reiki,
Yeah,
or Reiki.
come on.
Reiki or Reiki?
Reiki. No
Sessions.
matter how you say it, energy work.
Energy work with you.
Yes.
Where can they find you?
Well, I have an Instagram page. That's the Divine. What's my page? The Divine.skin. And I rent a room inside of a spa called Stevie's Healing Arts and Spa.
Okay.
So it's in the Henderson area here in Vegas.
So if they want to book with you, they would just DM
They
you
can-
on Instagram,
Yeah,
or
they can just DM me there. Yes.
okay. Well, thank you so
Well, they can find me
much.
through you. You always know where I am.
I know you guys can definitely reach out to me, and I will put everything in the link in the description so that they can easily find you here. But thank you so much for coming. It
Oh
means
my
so
gosh.
much to me.
Thank you so much for having me.
And
I'm
thank
so
you
proud of you.
for supporting me.
I am so proud of you.
Same. I'm so proud of you too.
I love you, my friend.
I love you. Okay. Thank you guys. Until next time. Peace.
Don't say you don't know. One show.
I see you. She has the kind of love to put you in I see you. She put that thing on me. Voodoo. She put that thing on me. Voodoo. She sauced my spaghetti, made me ready. As I fall like confetti, I'm a slave to the night. I thank all the universe.